Welcome to the Wellness in a Chaotic World podcast. I'm your host, Cheryl Davis. Before we dive in, I wanted to note that as a health and wellness coach, I can support you in making sustainable lifestyle changes, tuning into your own wisdom, and building habits that align with your values and vision for your well being. I don't prescribe or treat health conditions, as I'm not a doctor or a mental health professional. Instead, I can walk alongside you as you create a healthier life on your terms. From time to time, I share conversations with guests. The views and opinions expressed by those guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect my views or those of anyone associated with wellness in a chaotic world. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and isn't a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always talk to your doctor or qualified mental health provider about any physical or mental health concerns. This is the Wellness in a Chaotic World podcast, a place where we're having conversations about what it really takes to live well in our unhealthy, chaotic world. I'm your host, Cheryl Davis. If you're beating yourself up over a bag of chips you ate in a stressed out frenzy, or you can't figure out how anyone manages to find the time to even think about wellness, you're in the right place. We talk about all of these things and more because, frankly, we don't talk to each other enough about what we're really up against every day. Let's change that right now. Hey there. Welcome to Wellness in a Chaotic World. I'm your host, Cheryl Davis. This episode is a continuation of the series I started last time called Weeding Out Wellness Myths. Last time we talked about the myth that says that if we say we want to do something or change a habit, we should be able to just do it. Today, I want to dig into another related myth that shows up for just about everyone at some point. It's very subtle. You might not even realize you're thinking it. And it can do a lot of damage if we don't see it for the myth that it is. It's the myth that change or growth is linear. It's that expectation that we carry that once we make a change or once we've decided to do the thing, that the path should look clean and steady, straight line up and to the right on a graph if you were to chart it. Progress just keeps going. Except that that's not really how it works in real life. The myth that growth is linear is so appealing, so sticky, because it makes change feel predictable. It has us telling ourselves, if I just do X, I'll get Y. And if I keep doing it, everything should just keep getting better. But in reality, changing our habits is messy. Growing into the person that you desire to be is very, very messy. It loops, it spirals, it stalls, it picks up again. Some days you feel like anything is possible and life will always be this good. Other days, it feels like you've forgotten everything you learned. Everything you thought was possible seems very unlikely and it feels hopeless. If you're not careful, these dips or down days are when the impatience and the negative self talk jump right in to take you down. For me, linear thinking showed up in its full glory when I was really struggling with emotional eating. For a long time, stress eating was the primary way that I coped. Chips, sugar, junk food, whatever got me through the day and calmed my nerves. One day of stress eating would turn into weeks, even months, where I was stuck in it. But while sugar and junk foods do have addictive properties, more on that some other time, it wasn't just the food that was keeping me eating those chips in a frenzy like I might die if I stopped. It was actually the shame underneath it. It wasn't like I was thinking, oh, I blew it or I failed again. It was far more subtle than that. It was more like a heavy feeling and a deep, deep belief that the pattern could never be broken. I'd have these moments of stress eating, and then somehow, without realizing it, I'd get caught in these long stretches of not taking care of myself the way that I really wanted to. It was automatic, like I'd slip into a pattern that I didn't even have the words for yet. When it was very, very near the surface, though, and I wanted to cut out sugar and eating whenever I was stressed out, I remember very clearly looking at my coffee and crying as I dumped several teaspoons of sugar in it. And I just kept thinking, I don't know how. I don't know how I'm ever going to break from the sugar. It felt like I had zero control over it. Breaking that pattern, though, didn't come from discipline or willpower. It came from learning to treat myself with compassion. It came with forgiving myself. It came when I finally believed that I was worthy of finding a better way to handle the stress. And a big turning point for me was understanding that breaking the pattern might not be linear. It might take time, a few setbacks maybe, and that the most important thing to do was to keep trying. Once I stopped thinking that every slip meant I'd ruined everything, I didn't get stuck in those long shame spirals anymore. I could get back on track a lot faster. When we believe that progress should be a straight line, that if we do X, we get Y, we fall into black and white thinking, all or nothing, success or failure, forward or backward. But real change, real growth, it has dips, it has plateaus, it has messy middle parts. When I started to expect the dips, to see them as part of the process instead of proof that I'd failed, everything changed. I could recover faster, stay present, and keep moving forward. And just to nerd out for a second on this, there is some science behind this. The trans theoretical model of change maps out how people move through the process of changing their habits. And essentially, it's not a straight line from I want to change to I've changed. There are actually 6 different stages. There's pre contemplation where you're not even thinking about the change. You may even be actively trying to convince yourself you don't need to change. And then there's other stages where you're considering it, and then you're starting to make plans, you're getting ready to do the thing. And then there's the stage where you actually take action. And then through probably many, many cycles, you will eventually get to a point of maintenance where you keep doing the thing that you set out to do over time. And then there's also the final stage where you've got that change fully integrated and relapsing is actually unlikely. Most people move through these stages of change multiple times before a habit really sticks. Relapse, slipping back, or falling off the path is actually expected. It doesn't mean that you've failed. It means you're practicing, learning, and growing. So many of you know I'm a big believer that our lives are not separate from nature. The way that we grow is no different. Growth in the natural world doesn't happen in a straight line either. There are seasons. Trees bud, they bloom, they drop their leaves, they rest, and they start over again. Rivers, they meander. Plants grow in cycles, not perfectly straight upward. Even our physical bodies, our sleep, our hormones, our energy levels, they rise and fall in rhythms. Our habits, our lives, our growth, they're the same. There are bursts, there are pauses, there are setbacks. And those pauses and setbacks aren't just inevitable, they're actually helpful. They give us time to reflect, to adjust, to learn, and to build resilience. So the next time you find yourself slipping back into an old habit, remember, you're not necessarily failing. You're in the rhythm of change. You're learning, you're practicing, and you're moving forward, even if it doesn't look like a straight line going up, up, up on a graph. So, how do we work with this reality that change is not linear? How do we work with it instead of against it? A few things may help. Number one, we can reframe the setback. Instead of, I did this bad thing again, or I didn't do what I said I was going to do, try, I'm starting again with what I've learned. Number two, you can track patterns, not perfection. Notice what supports you and what tends to derail you. Awareness is one of the very first things that really needs to develop before change can happen. 3, you can plan for these disruptions. Life, as we've been talking about, will throw curveballs. Have a small re-entry ritual that helps you get back on track. For me, this tends to be flopping down on a yoga mat in child's pose for about 30 seconds. There's usually tears involved, and I always feel better and ready to start fresh. But the re-entry ritual can be anything that helps you reset. And finally, number 4, we can celebrate the return. Every time you come back to your habits, that's a win. So, becoming who you really want to be doesn't follow a straight line. Great. That's actually great news because it means you don't have to be perfect to keep growing. You can stumble, you can have your chips, you can have that setback, and you can still move forward. I'll leave you with one final question. Think back to a time that you lost momentum and then found your way back. What did that teach you about your resilience? Thank you so much for listening to Wellness in a Chaotic World and the Weeding Out Wellness Myths series. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend who might need this reminder today. And remember, your path is not meant to look like anyone else's. It is not linear. It is meant to meander and curve on your unique journey. The important thing is to stay on it and continue to learn something new about yourself every day. Until next time, I hope you have a happy, healthy week. If today's episode resonated with you, our private Facebook group is a great place to dive deeper, ask questions, and share wins with people who understand. It's free, it's private, and you can join by clicking the link in the episode description. I hope to see you there.